Hello, this topic is completing square. So we use completing square in quadratics, quadratic expressions, and quadratic equations. So we will see today how we express a quadratic expression in completed square form. What is completed square form? So there are two cases, two forms of completed square form. So we know that in general a quadratic expression is ax squared plus bx plus c, whereas the quadratic equation in general is the general form of quadratic equation ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. Very often I see students unable to differentiate between the two. One is equals to 0, that means this represents an equation because we see an equal sign here. Whereas the first one is an expression, quadratic expression. So as I told, there are two cases in the form when we change into completed square form. The first case is where a coefficient of x squared, a is 1. That means our equation will be x squared plus bx plus c. And the second case will be where a can be any number. So let's first talk about the first form, how to convert a given expression, quadratic expression when a is 1 into completed square form. So when we convert them into completed square form, we get an expression like this. So we will get x minus h x minus h whole squared plus k, where h and k are two numbers. So when we express any of the expressions or equation into completed square form, then this part will be transformed into this form. So this form is called completed square form. So when a is 1, so this will not be there. There will be a 1 here that we don't write. It will be only x minus h squared plus k. Means when we express this in completed square form, it will be x minus h squared plus k. So when we express this form into this form, we say that we have expressed this in completed square form. So let's take an example to see this. So let's say we have x squared plus 6x minus 10. So we just need two terms to complete the square, x squared term and x term. So what are the steps to do this? First of all, we will see what is the number here with x. What is the coefficient of x? So we will divide it by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. So now we will write x plus half of 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And we write the square. Minus. Always we have to subtract what we have written here. That means 6 divided by 2. We wrote 3 here. When we have to square it. So 3 squared. If it was minus here, so this will be minus as well, but this will stay negative anyway, whether it is plus or minus. Regardless of that, this will be always negative, and the square of the number that we wrote here, that is square of the number which we obtained by dividing the coefficient of x by 2. So these two terms we have to use to write up till here. Then next term will be minus 10 as it is. This minus 10 will be brought down. So this thing is equal to this thing. Now we will see here what is x plus or minus whatever is here squared. Minus 3 squared is minus 9 and minus 10. So these are the like terms, so we can write them as x plus 3 squared minus 19. Now we have expressed this expression in completed square form. This form is called completed square form, and as I told that we will get at the end something like this. So this is the expression. However, I have written here minus h and k. What is the use of this and why we are writing minus h? So basically, every quadratic expression, if we graph it, we will get a quadratic graph which is called parabola, and we will get two cases. One parabola will be open upward and other will be downwards. So if the coefficient of x squared is positive, which means a is positive greater than 0, the graph will be like this. And if a is negative less than 0, then the graph will be like this. This point on the graph is called turning point or vertex. This is the vertex of the parabola. Same. This is vertex. This is also vertex. Vertex is a point. So every point has coordinates. So this form, completed square form, basically gives us the coordinates of the vertex. What are the coordinates of the vertex? H, comma, k. So when we express an expression in completed square form, then the numbers h and k, remember this is minus h, then we have to write plus h here. Whatever the number here, the opposite sign to be written here. Minus h means plus h means minus h. And this number will be written as it is k. So coordinates of the vertex will be hk. So if we come to apply this thing here, so because the coefficient of x square, which is a, is positive greater than 1, so our graph will take this shape. And hence the vertex will be, this vertex is minimum, which is also called minimum point. And this is the maximum point. So as the graph is rising, it goes up to maximum this point. It is not going further up. So this is the maximum point. Then it comes down. So there's a maximum point. Whereas this point is minimum point. So sometimes you're asked to find the maximum point or minimum point. So the vertex is the maximum or minimum for a parabola, for a quadratic graph. So in this case, we have a positive. A is 1, which is positive. So it means we get this shape. It means we get a minimum point. What are the coordinates of minimum point? Here, this is h. Minus h is 3. So it means we say that coordinates of vertex will be opposite sign of this, which is 3. So we have negative 3 and negative 19. Y coordinate of the vertex is negative 19. So if you graph this parabola, its vertex will be at the point negative 3, negative 19. So that is the use of this form, completed square form. One more thing here, that we can also have a line passes through the vertex. A vertical line passes through the vertex. So this line actually divides the parabola into two identical parts, and hence this line is the line of symmetry of the vertex. Of the parabola. So the line of symmetry or axis of symmetry is a line which is vertical line passes through the vertex. So equation of this line will be always x equals h. Whatever the x coordinate of the vertex is, that is the equation of the equation of axis of symmetry or the line of symmetry. So in this case, our axis of symmetry will be x equals negative 3. So questions related to completing square form will help us to identify the coordinates of the vertex and to find the axis of symmetry or the line of symmetry for the parabola. for any quadratic graph. So when we express in this form, so h comma k are the coordinates of the vertex, and x equals h is the equation of line of symmetry for the parabola. So this is the first case where the coefficient of x squared is just 1. Now let's move to the second part where we can have the value of a other than 1. It can be negative, can be positive, but it will be more than 1 or less than 1. So what is the case if I have that thing? So let's take an example for that. So if we have 2x squared plus 10x minus 3, we are asked to complete this square. So this is the second case that coefficient of x squared is other than 1, which is 2 now. So first step is to get rid of this 2 by taking it common from the first two terms. As you have seen there that we only need the two terms, x squared term and x term, in order to complete the square. The third term stays as it is, and we at the end we simplify this with the number that we get here. So same thing to be done here. We will first take 2 common from the two terms. So we will say 2 outside x squared plus 5x minus 3. And now we will complete the square within the bracket, keeping this 2 out, keeping this 3 out as well. So what we did here, now we will repeat the same thing inside the bracket. So first of all, we'll see the half of the number with x, that means the coefficient of x. So what is half of 5? 2.5 or 5 over 2. So let's take 2.5. So we'll say x plus, and this sign will come here. If it is plus, it will be plus here. If it's minus, we have to write minus here. So half of 5 is 2.5 squared, and then minus square of 2.5. And then we will simplify it more. So if we continue, then we will get here, first we will simplify inside x plus 2.5, sorry. X plus 2.5 squared minus 2.5 squared, which is 6.25. Bracket close, minus 3. So inside this square bracket, we have two terms. One term is this and one term is this. So now we will expand this bracket. We will multiply 2 with the bracket inside. So 2 bracket x plus 2.5 squared, and then this 2 again will be multiplied with negative 6.25. So 2 times this is 12.5. And that's all. We have to multiply 2 with only these two terms, and this 3 is outside the bracket, so it will not be multiplied by 2. It will stay as it is, negative 3. And finally, we will write this as 2x plus 2.5 squared minus 12.5 minus 3 is negative 15.5. So now we have expressed the given expression, quadratic expression, in completed square form. So if we write the vertex of this parabola, so it will be x coordinate will be negative 2.5 and y coordinate will be negative 15.5. And equation of line of symmetry will be x equals negative 2.5. So this is how we express the given expression, quadratic expression, in completed square form.